So I am Ms. Werner Thomas. I'm the librarian downstairs. I know most of your faces. I know a few of your names. I'm happy to be here. I'm going to show you two things today. One, I'm just showing you a tool. You might remember it from 10th grade, but it might help you narrow down your topic, depending on what you're thinking about right now and where you want to head with that. The other thing I'm going to show you is a database. It is a huge database. It is completely overwhelming. The reason I'm showing it to you first is so that you know there is a place where you will be able to find information on your topic. Some of the other ones are maybe less overwhelming, but they might not have every single thing that you're interested in studying. So go first in Safari to the park website. We're going, click menu, and then we're going to the students menu. You're going to want to have your iPad in landscape, because some of the stuff doesn't show up right if you are in portrait, which is the point. In that students menu, scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. Click on Media Center. On the Media Center website, scroll down again. Under latest news, IB History of the Americas internal assessments. When you get to this page, I strongly suggest that you bookmark it. That way you don't have to go through the whole thing we just did again. You do that using the little export box in the upper right-hand corner in Safari and then choosing bookmark. Or you can use the little star. So there are a few things here. There's the collection of primary sources. There's a collection of research resources. There's a collection of secondary resources. Today we are just working with that collection of secondary resources. This isn't very helpful for anyone. So this is make other squares. We're going to make it a list. And under sort by, it says custom. We're going to change that to most recent. This makes it really easy for me to save stuff for you. It does not make me easy for it to put it in order properly. So at the bottom of this page are the database passwords. None of what I'm showing you today requires a password while you are at school or at home if you live in the state of Minnesota. So these resources are provided by the state. Parents pay for these, society pays for these, I pay for these, you might pay for these if you have a job. So they're provided by the state. So those database passwords, the one trick to them is you have to be signed into your @apps account to access them. If you're not, you can't access them. These are all paid services. Part of the user agreement is that I protect those passwords. I don't just hand them out to everybody in the world. So to get to them, you have to be logged into your @apps account. Do not email me at midnight on the night before your IA is due from bobafett@gmail.com asking to view the page, because you're not going to get it, especially not at midnight. I don't check my work. Right now, a lot of those are going to say no password needed. Talking to the last class, I'm going to update it with links that you can use with a password. So if you're traveling outside of the state of Minnesota, or if you live outside the state of Minnesota, you'll still be able to get at that stuff. Okay. Now I'm going back up to the top. I'm clicking on Gale in Context High School. They just redid this database. It is beautiful. We're going to click under the search bar where it says Advanced Search. And then, so we've got search options, Advanced Search, Publication Search, Topic Finder. Click on that Topic Finder. Just be patient if it doesn't load right away. Now, if you have a general area that you're interested in, I know some of you have a topic you're pretty well settled on. Some of you don't. You are not going to be able to write your paper on World War II. Write dictionaries and encyclopedias about World War II. You can't cover it all in 2,000 words. So you need to get more specific. This is a tool that you can use to do that. So if you have an area that you're interested in, World War II, Vietnam, the Great Depression, whatever it is, type that into this search bar. So what this shows you is everything in this database related to that search term. If it's red, there's a lot of information, and there are a lot of topics within that bigger umbrella. If it's green, it might kind of just be on its own. If there's a ... kind of arrow over it, because it just means it's really long and it didn't fit in that little pebble. So I'm going to choose United States. So these are topics within or under that umbrella of World War II, United States foreign relations, history, president, Franklin D. Roosevelt, armed forces, Navy, Europe, services, Soviet, Great Britain, military, decorations, Japanese Americans. I'm going to go with Japanese Americans. The size of the pebble tells you how many sources are available in that topic. This is not sources that are available for this topic in all the whole wide world. This is just sources that are available within this database. I'm showing you this first because I think this tool is so helpful. If I had had this my freshman year of college, I wouldn't have gotten a D on my first research paper. I wrote a research paper about Sephardic art. That's about 800 years of history. I wrote it 2 days before it was due. It wasn't good. I deserved the D. So, now I can scroll down. Oopsies. Come on. So this database has 16 articles that are under the umbrella World War II, under that, under the umbrella of the United States, under that, under the umbrella of Japanese Americans. I can open any of these. I can quickly skim. I know from being in here earlier. Here I've got an article on relocation in the Constitution. The nice thing about this redesign is it shows me where this information came from. So the author is the United States War Relocation Authority. Is that going to be a quality source? Yeah. From Women in America is the name of the database. It was published. This is a primary source. It's a government document. Shows you how long it is. It also shows you the difficulty of the reading level, which is kind of nice, just so you can maybe brace yourself. So here I've got the article. I'm not going to look at it right now. I am going to scroll to the very bottom to show you just a couple more things. One is, at the bottom is the citation. You remember what I taught you last year in 10th grade when you did your research paper. The first thing you do when you find a source, get that citation. Even if you don't wind up finding the source, you will be happier to get rid of sources and citations you don't need than to not have the citation when you need it. Every year I have a kid who comes in the week before the last part of the IA is due and says, I cited this I quoted this article, but I don't have the citation. And I say, so you didn't listen to me all the times I told you that should be the first thing you did? No. What database were you in? The blue one. What was your search term? I don't know. It's really hard for me to help you at that point. We're starting from 0. So get that citation. Below that are links to articles that are similar to this one. And below that are related subjects. Every database uses what's called a thesaurus, and that is the words that that database uses to talk about things. Computers are very smart. They're getting smarter all the time. They are still not human. And they don't always understand that this word means the same as this word. That limb is the same as leg, or something like that. And here you can find the words that this database uses for the topic you searched for. So if I click on one of these, Japanese American internment, So before I was kind of searching, I was drilling down under a specific umbrella. Now this takes me to everything that has that same specific search term, the language this database uses for that information. So I've got 15 primary sources, 12 audio, 13 academic journals. Academic journals are gold in this assignment because what you're looking at is not your crazy neighbor down the street who thinks the Holocaust doesn't happen and he has a blog. Okay, academic journals were written by experts in the field, and then they are vetted by experts in the field. So there are historical journals where somebody writes a paper about Japanese internment. It's then read usually by a committee of 2 or 3 other people who are experts in the field who say, yes, this is worthy of publication. This has been vetted over and over and over. The difference between using one of these databases and using just Google is kind of like in college, I let my roommate cut my hair because it was free. And she had cut her sister's hair, and her sister had curly hair too. And as she was cutting, she said, the fun thing about curly hair is you can just kind of cut wherever. Not true. So that free haircut is Google. The salon I go to is a database. Okay. Google Scholar is maybe a great place. It's just not the same. And I'll show you later how you can use Google in a way that's going to be useful to you. But this is the goal. This is where you want to be. Sometimes it's a few more steps than Google. Guess what? You have to work a little harder for the good stuff. So we are going back now to that collection. And under, for some reason, I've got Gale in context here twice. I could probably fix that later. In the EBSCO MegaFile is where we're headed. This database is not beautiful. It has not been redesigned. It's like a programmer just made it and then nobody ever looked at it again. Back to that collection. We're going to scroll down to the bottom of our list and click on that database passwords. And then we're going to scroll down just a little bit. It's the first bullet point there. Oh, somebody, I need to change my permissions. EBSCO MegaFile. Open the link from there. I'm hoping this will work better. There we go. The other one, the link has to go through the collection program first. I think that's why it was timing out. So here, I'm just going to, in this search bar, I'm just going to put in my search. And it won't let me just hit enter, search. So at the top of my results here, it tells me how many articles are listed. 85,946. I do not have the time, the energy, or the will to go through that many. Even just the titles of the articles. Neither do you. So we need to drill down. There is right here, little carrots from those. So we're going to do what's called drilling down. This is not quite like Minecraft where you can drill straight down without anything else happening until you hit lava and die. You've got to start with like a bigger thing. So the first thing we're going to do is limit to full text. Otherwise, you might wind up with just summaries, which are not appropriate. Okay, I'm still at 53,000. I'm going to pop this open again. Shows me the different source types. I'm going to click subject, and then I'm going to click show more. So remember I talked about how databases have their own specific words, their own specific dictionary. This is how you get to the dictionary. So the search we did what's called a keyword search, where it just kind of like skimmed everything and was like, where does it say World War II? Where? But one of the problems with that is, what's my publication date here? My first publication date. 1916. How is that possible? They were already talking about World War II during World War I. So a keyword search pulled it up because somebody somewhere said World War II. So if I use this subject search, I can get to the subject heading that's actually just World War II. It also tells me on the right how many articles are under there. I'm going to start with World War II, and let's see what else. Economic. I'm going to say also Japan. Update. So now I'm at 11,000. I can go back to this list. So now it's going to show me all the subject headings specific to just these articles. And I'll say 20th century history. So now I'm down to 88. This I can skim. This is doable. I could keep going. Another good one to check over here is language. These are all in English, so that's no deal. The publisher can sometimes be helpful. Publication. So this is the name of the publication. So the article, the newspaper, the magazine, whatever that is. I can also narrow by source type. So if I choose academic journals, those are those articles that are written by experts. Now I've only got 18 to look at. This is way easier. This is way more doable. As you look at this, you will understand better and better what you need. When I open this article, it shows me all of the subject terms that fall within this article's purview. So if I read the article and I'm like, yeah, this is good, I'm on the right track, I might go up to these subject terms and choose the subject term there. And then that's going to send me to another list where I can drill down. As I mentioned before, this is not a beautiful database. It's not super fun to use. The reason I'm showing it to you first is because I want you to have the confidence that you will be able to find information. With the other one we looked at, you might not. It doesn't have everything. This one, you will find everything. If you don't find anything, it's because you're using the wrong words to search, and I can help you with that. Don't think I have anything else for this morning. I'll also show you quick when we're in this article. If I use my carrots on the right-hand side, this is where all my tools are. So before I do anything else, what do I need to do? Cite it. In this one, I don't know what that's supposed to be a picture of. I think it looks like a plaque on the side of a building. Cite, and it lists all the different citation formats. You are using MLA. So scroll down to MLA, you click, copy it, paste it into your works cited document. If you do not already have something running, I would go into Google Docs right now. Do they share documents with you, Ms. Eiden, or just submit?
Ultimately, they will just submit it.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, they'll share with you.
Okay. So, do you guys remember how to set up the name of a document so that you don't make your teachers crazy? So, yep. Last name. If you have a common last name, put your first name. name of the assignment, class period. Even if you wind up putting everything in the same document at the end, it's way easier to have your works cited separate while you're working on pulling the research. Because otherwise you've got to scroll through all the other mess you made. Maybe your stuff isn't messy when you're writing it, mine is. So save that so you're ready. Then you've got your works cited. The other really super handy thing, and I think all of our databases do this now, is another tool is Google Drive. Come on. In theory, when you click that Google Drive button, it will say, do you want to save this to your Google Drive? And then you give permission, and it will make a new folder in your Google Drive called EBSCO, and all your articles will be there. From Google Drive, it's super easy to move it into Notability to mark the text. I know you spent a lot of time learning about that last year. It's going to be your best friend this year. Any questions?
I know some of you are like, this seems like it's going to be so much work, but I'm going to tell you that this is actually going to make your workload far less, okay? Because, and I know that a lot of you have a topic idea in your head, at least, that you can work with, but this would be a good time, because we're going to just keep working on topics and questions for the next 20 minutes. This would be a really good time for you to kind of search through that database and see, are there going to be enough things about my topic once I get it narrowed down to make it a feasible thing to study. And, you know, a lot of times we just, like Ms. Warner-Thomas was saying, we want to do just random Google searches. But again, not everything we find off of our Google searches is reliable. This stuff is all vetted. This is stuff that we want you to use. Okay? These are not websites. Okay, does everybody get that? You can use as many of these as you want. Okay? Ms. Warner-Thomas, do you have anything else you would like to share with them? We're good for today?
Perfect for today.
Okay. So for the next 20 minutes,
They've got that glassy-eyed look.
So I can get a try. I want you to keep plugging through those two charts on topics and questions. I'm going to move to the front.